friendo, Steve here. Welcome back to the channel. So, I hate to do this. It's the worst thing in the world. I gotta admit, I was wrong. Ooh, that's right. A couple of videos ago, sometime last week or the week before, I posted a video. It was in the last Ask Russell Juice. I did. And a friendo asked, hey, Steve, is there anything WWE can do to keep Kevin Steen from being Kevin Steen in AEW? And I was like, I don't know. Like, probably not, because he can still make good money and spend more time with his family. That was my central thesis. I probably took like 5 minutes to get to that point. But I've just gotten sort of the feeling over the past couple months that Kevin Owens, given that he has, tweeted out references to going to AEW, that he's talked about his contract coming up on WWE programming. And sometimes you can just sort of get a general sense of a performer if they're on cruise control or, if they're like, yeah, I'm probably going to be leaving soon. And so I felt that it was likely, very likely, that we would see Kevin Steen showing up in AEW probably around Revolution. And I was totally wrong, because this past week, last week rather, it was reported that, and he confirmed, that he is staying with the WWE. Kevin Owens is going to remain there for at least a couple more years, and apparently he's making somewhere in the amount of like $2 to $3 million a year. It has also been reported, because I know people talk about this a lot, that there is no cut clause, which means WWE could still sign him, release him, and then he's free to do whatever he wants after like 90 days. So they'd be able to sort of. Look, anything's possible. This is wrestling. Anything is possible. Once Dean Ambrose showed up in AEW, I was like, okay, anything's possible. Once Danielson and Adam Cole both signed AEW, I was like, oh man, that's a legit thing. Like, that's a real thing. Like, people are totally willing to go over there. And seemingly AEW can kind of like match what WWE is offering. But again, this is the bottom line on this. It all depends on what the person values, on what they want, what they need. With Daniel Bryan, was very interesting. Bryan Danielson was a very interesting case, because he expressed interest to go elsewhere to wrestle, which makes sense because he had to take 3 years off. And he is a guy who wants to spend his life doing interesting things in wrestling. He's also a family man, but his career is wrestling. His lifeblood is wrestling. And so it makes sense that he's like, hey, WWE, can I go to New Japan? And then when New Japan wouldn't play ball, they were like, no, sorry, we have Dolph Ziggler here if you want. And then he ended up going to AEW. They probably still gave him a good payday, but who knows if it's as much as AEW gave him. I kind of feel like it probably wasn't. And so, but to him, what mattered more was being able to go to different places, different dream matchups, and wrestle guys like Suzuki, Kenny Omega, et cetera, right? And he's doing a great job in AEW. Adam Cole apparently had a meeting with Vince McMahon. He confirmed that. Other sources have said that there were creative pitches for him to do a variety of things, like manage Keith Lee, who's, by the way, is no longer with the company, cut his hair, change his name. Adam Cole has said those pitches never came to him, but it's not necessarily any indication that they would have if these were internal creatives that had not yet reached that level. And he heard Vince McMahon out, decided, hey, I like this. Now, we do know what we know about Adam Cole. Number one, he loves his Twitch channel. Chances are WWE would have been like, no, you can't do that. No Twitch channel for you. Some people out there even know how much he was making off his Twitch channel because that information leaked. I'm not going to divulge it here, but it's not insignificant. I happened to pawn it on Twitter. I didn't go looking for it. So in his situation, plus I don't think he has kids yet. In his situation, probably made a lot more sense to go to AEW, where he already has friends. He knows he's going to be in a prominent spot, and you can talk about how he's been booked thus far. I personally am okay with it because I kind of feel like he's going to be the next AEW champion. And so for him, that was a better situation. I don't know if they would have rolled out $2 to $3 million a year for Adam Cole, who hadn't been tested yet on main roster. I just don't know they would have done that. Maybe they were offering that and he was like, no, I'm good. I don't know. but he found AEW be a more desirable place. Getting back to Kevin Owens, what he had said in a podcast with Don LeProd, I totally probably got that wrong, and I probably should have researched the name before doing this, but I just figured He said, I'm a family man, and I wanted to get security for my family. And that makes all the sense in the world. Plus, he talked about already being established in WWE. And that's one thing that I had mentioned out of that other video, is that security for your family really does mean a lot. And he's always been used relatively well in WWE. I mean, anybody would kill to have his career. He's a Universal Champion, Intercontinental Champion, U.S. Champion. I don't think he's been a tag champion yet, but I think that's the only title that he hasn't had besides 24/7. That's not a real title. And so Vince McMahon let him headbutt him a couple of years ago. Like, that's how much WWE likes Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens could conceivably walk out of day one as WWE champion. But the bigger issue here is he evidently likes working there. His best friend, Sami Zayn, also, according to rumor, has re-signed there as well. They were always joined at the hip before they came to WWE, and then they came to WWE, and, So he feels that this works on many levels. When I look at him, I thought that this could be either way, but like the clues I was picking up was like, oh man, he's probably out the door. So I don't know. I just thought it's kind of interesting that we are sort of learning, number one, where a lot of wrestlers' priorities lie. Johnny Gargano is going to be an interesting case, where certain wrestlers' priorities lie, and what WWE is going to do to try to keep them in-house now. Apparently, they were pretty upset that Daniel Bryan decided to move on. And so offering Kevin Owens the kind of money that guys just sort of you have like Roman and Brock, who are probably making, I don't know, between $5 and $7 million a year. And then you got the guys like the top names under that, like Seth Rollins, probably, I would imagine Drew McIntyre is probably on that level. Kevin Owens has now been elevated to be in the same pool as those guys, making $2 to $3 million a year, which is a lot of money. That's a shit ton of money. Who's going to turn that down? It means that his family will never want for anything. That's what it means. And if he does get cut, then he can probably just go to AEW, because who wouldn't want him? So seems like a win-win for everybody. Seems like he's really happy. And honestly, with these wrestlers that put their bodies on the line for us, for our entertainment, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday if you count NXT, UK, Friday, SmackDown, and Rampage. Yeah, like 5 days a week, sometimes 6. I want them to be happy. I want them to be healthy, right? Isn't that the major thing? That's the thing that we all want, right? I think there's a lot of great matches for him in AEW, but I still think that there's a lot they can do with him in WWE. He's the kind of guy who, kind of like Chris Jericho, can always reinvent himself like he's doing right now. I really enjoy this aspect of Kevin Owens' character right now, the whole I don't tell a lie thing. I think they can go a long way with that. I've always preferred him as a heel anyways. His interaction with Seth Rollins has been a lot of fun. And when I have to slog through Monday Night Raw every Monday night, I get to enjoy Kevin Owens. So I'm kind of happy about it, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot he could have done in AEW, but I'm kind of happy he's staying in WWE, because that Raw is 3 hours of, not a lot of compelling television. With him there, it helps out the situation quite a bit. Hopefully, with this new contract, they're paying him all this money. They're going to use him in a much more prominent spot that he has over the past couple of years. That's what I'm hoping for. So, that's where I stand on that. Hey, I was wrong. WrestleJuice was wrong. I felt Kevin Steen was going to go to. Hey, you know what, though? At the beginning of last year, or this year, I predicted that both Bryan Danielson and, who else? CM Punk were going to come wrestle for AEW. So at least I got those ones right. So yeah, that's the situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. We'll be back with some more content later on this week. In the meantime, check out one of these other videos here. And then also, we've got a new channel under the Going In Raw umbrella. It's called Friendo Club TV. And it's just sort of going to be like odds and ends, like clips from the longer show. If you can't make the longer show, we're going to put clips there. Also, new content, stuff that you guys have been asking for. Maybe I'll do a Spider-Man review over there. But yeah, it's just going to be sort of like algorithm free. Like, we're just going to put stuff over there. Like the Church of Friendos holiday party we had. I'm taking all the chunks that I can, that are not rife with copyright stuff, and I'm uploading that over there. So go check out Friendo Club TV. I'll put a link in the description of this video. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and yeah, we'll see you next time.